Imagine standing face to face with a creature the size of a school bus, knowing that if you lose this fight, you aren't just dinner, you are a historical footnote. Our ancestors didn't have steel, they didn't have gunpowder, and for a long time, they didn't even have reliable projectiles. Yet somehow, they became the apex predator of the planet. Today, we are looking at how ancient humans took down megafauna 10 times their size using nothing but their own 2 feet and a concept that sounds like a death sentence: persistence hunting. To understand this, we have to look at the physiology of a human versus a giant. Take the mammoth. A Colombian mammoth weighed up to 10 tons. It had tusks longer than a human is tall. It was a walking tank. If you tried to wrestle a mammoth, you would be crushed into the dirt before you could blink. But the mammoth had one critical weakness: it couldn't sweat. Humans are the best endurance runners on the planet. We are the only mammals evolved specifically to dump heat through our skin. We are essentially self-cooling machines. We have thin hair, we have millions of sweat glands, and we have an upright posture that keeps our bodies out of the direct sun. Persistence hunting, or persistence predation, isn't about strength, it is about heat. You find a herd of prey, you isolate one, and you start running. You don't need to sprint, you just need to keep pace. The animal will bolt, moving at 30 or 40 miles per hour. It will quickly put hundreds of yards between you and it. But here is the catch. The animal can only maintain that speed for a few minutes before its body temperature spikes. It has to stop to pant, to rest, and to cool down. While the animal is recovering, you aren't resting, you are walking. You are tracking, you are closing the distance. As the animal stops to pant, you appear on the horizon again. The animal panics, it bolts again. It runs faster, its core temperature climbs even higher, and it reaches its threshold even sooner. This cycle repeats for hours, sometimes an entire day. Eventually, the animal reaches a state of hyperthermia. Its muscles cramp, its brain begins to fog. It loses the ability to coordinate its legs. It collapses. At this point, you don't need a spear. You don't need a bow. You walk up to an animal that was, mere hours ago, a titan of the Pleistocene, and you end it with a rock or a sharpened stick. This happened across the globe, from the Kalahari Desert to the frozen plains of North America. But it wasn't just about running. It was about collective intelligence. Think about the trap strategy. Before sophisticated weaponry, humans utilized the environment as a force multiplier. If you couldn't run an animal into the ground, you tricked it. In places like head-smashed-in buffalo jump in Alberta, Canada, indigenous peoples used the landscape to do the killing for them. They would identify a steep cliff. They would have a group of runners, known as buffalo runners, dress in calf skins. They would mimic the sounds of a lost calf. The herd would follow the sound, driven by curiosity and instinct, until they reached the edge of the cliff. The hunters would then emerge from behind rocks, waving hides and shouting, creating a wall of noise. The herd, panicked, would stampede forward, unable to stop, tumbling over the edge. The result wasn't just food for a day, it was a windfall. A single successful jump could provide tons of meat, marrow, and hides to support a tribe for months. This required incredible planning. You needed to know the migration patterns of bison. You needed to understand wind direction so your scent wouldn't give you away. You needed to coordinate dozens of people without a single spoken command that might alert the herd. This is where the brain became the most lethal weapon in our arsenal. We talk about hunter-gatherers, but the hunter part was really just a massive exercise in logistics. You were managing a giant biological engine. You were calculating energy expenditure versus caloric return. Consider the glyptodon. It was an armadillo the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. It was covered in a dome of thick, bony armor. You couldn't pierce it. You couldn't outrun it. So what did you do? You tracked it to its burrow or caught it in a soft, muddy marsh where its massive weight became a liability. You didn't fight the armor, you fought the environment. You trapped it where it couldn't turn, or you waited for it to exhaust itself in the mud. This tells us something profound about what it means to be human. We didn't conquer the world because we were the strongest, or the fastest, or the most venomous. We conquered it because we were the most patient. We were the only species willing to commit to a hunt that lasted from sunrise to sunset. The evolution of the human foot, the loss of body hair, the ability to store vast amounts of energy and fat, and the development of language to coordinate these traps. All of these traits were refined over 2 million years. Every time you see a modern marathon runner or a person playing a team sport, you are seeing the ghosts of those hunters. We are built for the long game. We are designed to outlast the storm, to outweight the prey, and to solve the problem that seems impossible in the moment. Today, we don't hunt for survival. We have grocery stores and supply chains that span the globe. But the instinct to persist, to keep moving when everyone else has stopped, and to use our intellect to overcome physical limitations is still hardwired into our DNA. So the next time you feel like you are facing an obstacle that is 10 times your size, remember the mammoth. It didn't lose because it was weak. It lost because it couldn't outrun the slow, steady, and relentless pressure of a species that knew how to wait for the world to turn. What impossible thing are you waiting out today?